All right, now we're going to talk about the fourth big issues program proposal, and it's I call it the National Drug Reform Program. And this is what, more than anything else, started me out on this political journey I've been on. Right way back about 1980 when I was working in D.C. Again, I'm a political junkie all my life, and I solve problems. I'm a systems analyst. Systems analysts are business problems, large and small. That's what we do. Sometimes it takes a computer system, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you just need to really change procedures, and that's all a business situation needs. Sometimes you need to build a whole computer system and put it in. But anyway, so about 1980, I actually did this. I said, okay, what if the Congress came to me and said, Andy, that's what I used to go by, we want you to figure out how to get hard drugs out of the country, how to solve the drug problem. Because in the early 80s, all right, cocaine was becoming a big problem. Pot was the big thing in the 70s, and then Reagan came in, and pot was squashed, and cocaine was everywhere, and it was just craziness. But anyway, so I said, okay, and like any other situation, I said, okay, what do I know? I can start basing my design on, and that started groups of conversations with many people over the years. And I've been talking with people about this stuff ever since. Thousands of one-on-one conversations about everything you're hearing today. Not today, but you're hearing in these proposals and all my writing. And eventually, I came up with this and that, and the idea was how to get hard drugs, not under control and legalized, because that's not the way to do it, right? But how to get them out. What's the compromise? Well, the compromise, as I came up with it later on, okay, as it got farther into it, was to practically legalize pot, which is another one of the proposals, and make it basically a death penalty offense eventually to keep trafficking or distributing and eventually dealing hard drugs in America. Because if you want to end a war, any war, whether it's the one with ISIL, whatever they want to call the terrorist, little terrorist group over in the Middle East now that's causing so much trouble, or any other war. There's only a couple ways to end war. Either you have to kill enough and the right people, okay, or you have to pay off whoever you have to pay off to bring peace. There's no other way, or else it just keeps on going. And you can look at every war we've ever been in or had, and it's pretty much, you run out of people to kill, or you run out of people that want to die, right? Or you pay them off, right? And that's it. I digress a little bit there, but that's it. Now, there's just way too much money in drugs, all right? It's terrible. I mean, for me, in recent years, the heroin problem is unbelievable. I've seen programs of how they deal with drug users in Boston. There was one on a few weeks ago about the fact that in the state of Ohio, there's 23 overdoses of heroin every week. 23 people dead from heroin overdose in one state, right? And the government, our federal government, you go to your rep who wants to get reelected, ask them what they're doing to stop the heroin problem. They'll go, duh, it's not my job. Yes, it is, right? Anyway. I get a little bit emphatic about this, a little wound up about this because it's just terrible. Now, so basically what I came up with was a way to basically gather the addicts up and take them to farms in the country and help them go through a multi-month, multi-year, whatever detox program, hardcore detox program, right? And what you do is after you basically assign a national hard drug sale cutoff date. Sounds a little silly, but it would work. Let's say April 15th of next year. We say, if you're caught trafficking, distributing, or dealing heroin, crack, cocaine, whatever, you're going to have 3 chances maximum. All right, I'm going to go through this real quick. All right, you get 3 chances. Maybe 2, because this is going to be so well known. But basically, you get caught, you get tried, you get convicted, all right? And if it's a victimless apprehension, meaning nothing was killed, you were just caught with the product, with enough product that there's no question you were trafficking, distributing, selling, whatever, then you don't go to jail, okay? You go into probation, and you go back into that reemployment system that I talked about a minute ago. What's your education? What's your vocation? What are your social skills? What can you do other than this? And you get, of course, you're on probation for a while, absolutely, and you get 2 more chances at that. Let's say months or a year later, you're caught again doing this. Caught, tried, convicted. Back into the rehabilitation system. Upon your 3rd apprehension, okay, and again, you get a standard trial, trial in every one of these situations. Upon the 3rd apprehension, all right, you still get another court trial, and it's actually guilty or not guilty, period. Once on that 3rd pass, your 3rd conviction, and the evidence will be reviewed by whatever jury needs to certify it, right? You're guilty. 90 days after that 3rd guilty decision, that person will get the death penalty. And that's it. That's the way it works, right? Pot will be fully legalized, and we're going to do that anyway, right? And this is the only way to break it. You have to make it, and over time it'll go from 3 chances down to 2 chances. We're just going to leave it right on off. And again, this sounds a little barbaric or whatever to some people, but I laid this same program out to hundreds of people, and I laid it out to some people that I would only be able to describe as screaming liberals. All right, and I figured this will put it to the test. And I got done going through the lengthy description of all this with more than a couple of these people. And at the end of it, they went, that's fair. You've given them 3 chances and all this help in between. If they can't figure it out, we're not going to waste money on them anymore, any more time. So once I got that, I knew I had a pretty good plan. So it's 137 pages. I published it in 2003, and it's out on the website. You can download it for free. Okay? So, a couple other thoughts. The problem with heroin right now is it's incredibly cheap, evidently, everywhere. And our buddies, our drug war partners in the Mexican government, okay, that's just a complete joke, right? We know where the drug lords live. We know where their plantations are. They're growing the crop for cocaine in Mexico now, right? It's there. We have Google Maps. We can see this stuff. And say, well, they can't have trouble finding the drug lords and all that stuff. This is a bunch of baloney. There's just an awful lot of money being made on both sides of the border by good people, supposedly, and certainly by bad people. But let me give you a little idea about the ability of our surveillance community, right? And this goes back to the early 1970s. And I've told many people this story to give you an idea of what was available then as to what could possibly be available now. It was on the evening news one evening, NBC, ABC, whatever station I was watching that evening, and they had hey, we got this satellite footage for you. Cool, satellites were still kind of new in those days. We'd only been on the moon 3 years earlier, right? So it showed a visual from outer space of Asia. Then it zeroed in on Southeast Asia, and the knob was still on. It zeroed in so you could see the outline of Vietnam. Zoomed in on Hanoi Harbor. Hanoi's the capital. And it zoomed into the harbor. You could see the boats. It zoomed in, you could see trucks and cars, people, really. And it zoomed in until they showed you the license plate on the truck sitting on the harbor, getting loaded in Hanoi, and getting offloaded in Hanoi Harbor, right? And that was over 40 years ago, okay? Can you imagine what we can see now, all right? So to say that we can't stop the drug flow, and we can't go get these guys, and like I said, if you want to end a war, you've got 2 ways to do it. You've got to kill enough or the right people, or you've got to pay the right people off. And the drug lords down there have got to switch themselves over, and what they're going to start doing is they're going to start growing food, right, for their people. And probably hemp wouldn't be bad either, but they can do some things with it themselves, all right? That gives you a pretty good idea of the National Drug Reform proposal. And it's just terrible what heroin is doing in this country right now, and our government, when you go think about voting these people back in office, your senators, one of your states is one of the 34 states that's re-electing the senator this time, what are they doing about this? Okay, what's your House of Representative doing about it? You know, say, well, we need more treatment. No, we don't need more treatment. We need to cut off the source of the problem. If somebody can't get something, they can't be addicted to it. Period. Anyway, enough of that. Hope you found that interesting, and hopefully we can get together and take care of that problem. Take care, and see you next time.